When you heard from the doctor, what did you feel?
If something happens to you, you are always like, why me? Why not others? But the very first thought that crossed my mind was, thank God it's me. I still go through struggle. I still have the insecurity that I don't have one breast. I somehow feel like I'm defective. I also think, is it fair to my husband?
Everything for me in life seems like a bonus right now. Whatever is happening.
Cancer didn't just do any harm, but also cancer made me realize that what am I doing with my life?
I was telling you, Seema, before this, we started that somewhere when Nithin had posted first that, my wife, Seema, my wife has been diagnosed with cancer. I don't know why. Of course, I liked the tweet and I also commented on this, but somewhere that stayed with me for many, many years. And it stayed with me also, what I was telling you, for many years, because somewhere I've also experienced a lot of pain in life, personal. But we always show up. So we're going to have this conversation and hopefully inspire a lot of homes, a lot of people. मुझे पूछना है, when you heard from the doctor, what did it mean?
The first thing I felt was, I think in a long time, because I think when you go through life, you're always, if something happens to you, you're always like, why me? Why not others? But the very first thought that crossed my mind was, thank God it's me and not any of my loved ones. But of course, and then, I think I was in denial for a bit because I thought this is something, I can deal with in the next month or so. But yeah, I didn't really feel sad or anything as such. As I said, I think it was mostly denial, and then I told him, and then he made me laugh, and I was like,
Yeah.
But yeah, that's,
But a diagnosis like this is also a shift, right? Like, for example, I'm just giving a very, I don't know, bad analogy, but pandemic जैसे हुआ, तो पहली बार हमारी जिंदगी में लगा कि shift. Suddenly, what we assumed of life was not the same life. And what did it get you to shift in your life?
my travel plans. I'm serious. We had planned this whole thing in December, this holiday, and then I'm asking the doctor, okay, so I have this travel coming in December. How do we do this? Like, how fast can we do this? And I'm asking her, okay, if I do this, will I lose my hair, or will my hair be there during my holidays? Can I lose it after that? So travel plans.
Immediate reaction was, how quickly can we get done with this? Usually, what are the steps? Tell me 1 to 3 things to do.
Yeah.
I think she was just doing that. She was constantly saying, okay, I'll do this, check, and can I just continue with life?
Yeah.
And I think I remember the doctor saying, take a moment. This is, cancer. This isn't like something where you can just do a, like a tick mark and say, yeah. So
I know. She said, Seema, you have to realize this is going to take somewhere between 6 months to a year. This is not something you just deal with in a week's time, or this is not cold, like you take some medicines and you're done. So that's kind of, I was like, okay, this is not going to be something that's going to happen quickly.
Nithin, when she told you, what was your...
No, strangely, right? The first time, so how this all happened was we went to our annual checkup, and that's where it got spotted. And when at the checkup, you usually have a guy saying, oh, why don't you go check on this? Right? So she went to the doctor alone, by the way. So I didn't even think it's, I thought it's a joke type, in the sense it can't be anything serious. Yeah. So I think the doctor was also surprised, saying, how she come alone for this?
No, because I went first. It's a small clinic. So I went to her. Then she said, okay. As soon as she checked me, she said, okay, we have to do biopsy. So I was like, okay, how fast? She said, I can do it right now, or you can go get your husband because this is not something you have to do alone. I said, no, let's do this. So she did it. She said, okay, 2 days result. After 2 days, they called me. They said, okay, doctor wants to meet you. I'm still thinking, oh, maybe nothing. So I just went alone. You know,
Huh,
I
of
didn't
course,
think
yeah,
much.
yeah.
I mean, and then she's like, you're alone again? I said, yeah. Then she was like, see, it's cancer. And we don't know what cancer, where all it's spread. Nothing we know, but it's cancer. That's all we know. So I was like, okay. The third time I visited her, I went with everyone, Nithin, Nikhil. She was like, oh, so now you've come with the whole
Oh,
world.
Yes, Nitin, when she told you this, what was your...
It's one of those. I think we keep talking about this. It's I usually tend to make peace faster, and I think that's, when I look back at my journey as an entrepreneur as well, I think the only way I've survived it is that, just
Yeah.
internalize this very quickly. And I think she also did it, as in, we were actually fooling around almost immediately. I think there was shock for a bit, but after that, I think we were generally fooling around. And I mean, I could fool around, but the fact that she played along is actually made. Otherwise, the last 2 years for someone else could have been, like for a man in the relationship also could have been like really hard. Like, but she never ever made it feel like she's actually going through all of this, right? As in,
Yeah.
I mean, her hair is curly now after chemo, because I don't know what has happened. She had straight hair.
Oh, really? Okay.
After chemo, the new hair that's coming is coming curly. So like, so someone.
But you look so pretty and gorgeous.
So yeah,
You
so
look like a
someone.
doll.
Now someone says, how do you get curly? You say,
He says, go through chemo.
Yeah, the sense of humor. While this journey you've had and you went with everyone and everyone has been with you, it's also a very individual journey. And also, I also want to call out, again, इसमें तो human being है, but also women. And yours was breast cancer. It's also a lot of internal questions. It is also a lot of internal changes that happens. If you can tell us, how did you process and because सब कोई कैसे मतलब कैसे, क्योंकि बहुत सारी चीजें एक्स्ट्रा हैं इसमें.
Actually, it was a surprise to me as well. I mean, I love all these, beauty things, and I'm always like so much vanity, I want to have to look good, I have to wear this, I have to buy this, like I have to look a certain way. So I didn't know, at every stage, I thought I'll break down, right? Like right from the day they did the mastectomy. Then I was like, okay, but I was fine, and then, they did the chemo, I lost my hair. And I thought, okay, this is the time I'm going to break down. But surprisingly, I didn't. Like, I think I surprised myself as well, I mean, I didn't know I could deal with something, losing my hair. I mean, I was actually laughing. And I think, I mean, you might think a certain way, but then I think along the way, the struggles, I think, bring out the best in you sometimes, like you might just surprise yourself the way you deal with things. I mean, I'm not saying, I still go through struggle. I still have the insecurity that I don't have one breast. I still, I somehow feel like I'm defective. I also think, is it fair to my husband? I mean, these are the things that
Any woman will question,
like,
any wife will question. Yes.
Exactly. So I still go through those struggles. But then I guess at the end of the day, there are people who love you, support you, and you kind of like, okay, take a deep breath. And then I look at my son. I mean, he is a gem of he like from day one, he knows what I've gone through. He's seen the stitches, he's seen everything. And he was so curious and asking questions. So I think everyone around you just helps you in a way, and somehow you shock yourself by being, the strongest person you are. Like, I never thought I would. I mean, I really thought I would break down at some point. But then, I mean, I didn't.
One of the things people say is that, like, of course, all these self-help books and YouTubes that I watch, is that world loves you and people around you, even your most intimate relationships, people will love you if you love yourself. And I've always wondered, what is it to love yourself? But did you discover something more? Did you think something more? Did you have to do something more to for yourself.
I used to argue with him if I'm upset, right? Like your mood changes and you just lose it. But then along the way, somewhere I realized, right now, like when I'm angry or I'm not feeling all that great, I just tell him, listen, I need some time for myself. Nothing to do with you. Like the last time we were supposed to do this, last 10 days back or something.
Yeah.
I couldn't do it because my stitches had infection and I was going through another phase of, and he understood it's okay, we can postpone this. So it's okay to say no. It's okay to say that I need a break. I need some time for myself. Like I did a solo trip after being diagnosed because I'm like, okay, you know what, I want to do this. And he was so supportive. He's like, yeah, please go ahead. Like if this is what you feel like doing, do it. Of course, I felt guilty because I had never left my son behind. Had always taken him with me, but I felt guilty all the way. But then through all the guilt, I still did it. I think you just have to take care of yourself. I mean, that's what is needed.
Yeah, then only you show up as a
Yeah,
for
and
everyone.
I keep telling, no, that's what, see, if I'm not happy, how am I going to give my best to my son or my husband or anything? Like, how am I going to give best of if I'm only not happy, like I'm unhappy.
No, but thank you for calling it out, because I think this needs to be called out more, especially for women, because the identity becomes somewhere, giving and loving and being.
Yeah,
there.
and if you don't do that, you feel guilty because you're like,
Yes.
oh my God, like I think I'm doing something wrong,
Selfish.
Yeah, selfish, exactly.
Yeah.
But I would like to tell women it's okay to be selfish. I mean, it's healthy to be selfish.
But is this selfish?
It's not.
No, it's
I mean,
not
you're selfish to yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's okay. I mean, you have to
Yeah.
take care of yourself if you want to take care of others.
Yeah. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, definitely not.
This question, which she had, and, is that a breast is not there. And what will my husband, and am I there? What would you say?
From the time we got to know it's a mastectomy, it all became about our boob job. We're like looking around with Pamela Anderson. What's the size you're doing? Yeah, no, but as I said, I think we started dating in 2001, 2002, and we just been through like tons of things together. It doesn't even bother me, but I think what has helped in all of this is just the fun, and just the fooling around.
Just taking it light.
Yeah.
And not being too serious. And I think my mom cried a lot more than anyone else, right? As in, or probably her mom, So, the first few days, I think we're impacted. But after that, it's not ending, in the sense, like,
Yes.
it's
It's
been what,
still going
yeah, it's
on.
still going
Yes,
on.
yes,
So,
yes.
so it's a, but yeah, but physical thing, never bothered me at all. It was, it didn't.
You have to tell something about you. This is my reading, and you'd correct me. And I was discussing this with Seema, that you come across as a very there's something about you where you don't come across as this extremely expressive person. Somehow, I think you do a better job in expressing on social media. You're not wearing your emotions on your sleeves, kind of a person. But there's a lot of care. There is a lot of heart that you bring. And that is also visible in the kind of post that you did around both of you, shaved together, smiling. Where does it come from?
I think, see, like we keep discussing, okay, I think this whole entrepreneurship, right, over the last 20 years has made me a little cold, and I understand it, right? Which is
Cold.
Yeah, it is. I mean, in the sense, cold, as in, because if you're, lesser emotions in life, internalizing things very fast. I'm always constantly thinking about worst case outcome all the time, right? And because that's how I lead my business life, right? And
You
and
wrote
some of
about, no, it's good to be pessimist. Then either you're surprised or you're
yeah,
correct.
yeah, something like that. I mean, that's how I've been leading my life, but then some of that flows into my personal life as well, which I don't like. But and so maybe sometimes I end up not being available as much, emotionally, as in, like showing. But I think we understand each other really well. So I think she probably, like I'd look at her and know what mood she is in, and she'll probably look at me and know what mood I'm in. And I think over time we've figured a way to, um, like find a right balance. Like, there was a while where, if once in a while we used to get into a fight, we would not talk for like 2 days, 3 days. It would get so awkward after that. So now, that's not there. Even if you have some misunderstanding, it takes like,
Yeah.
like
No, we were
one,
discussing
2
the other
hours,
day.
and then, we're like, whatever. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, you
So-
keep that going, right? The argument. Like I will never say sorry. And there was, I think, the biggest fight that we had. I don't even remember for what, and it went on for a week, I think.
For a week.
Yeah, we didn't talk to each other
For a week.
for almost for a week.
Complete silence.
Exactly.
Amazing.
But I realized at the end of it, I felt like he felt like a stranger, and I really didn't like that feeling. I was like, oh my God, like I don't want to be. I mean, I've married the man, I've had a kid with him. I don't want to feel like this, totally disconnected. So now, even if we argue, okay, that is done. Argument is done. Just continue. Let's, move on.
And Seema, you said something very beautiful, like, because you guys have known each other now for 20 years or more. Yeah. And relationships evolve. Somewhere we have the same expectations when we get married or before, when we are dating. Then we have such high expectations, I love that feeling, the dating feeling. But then जो होता है ना, जहाँ movie end होती है, वहाँ life शुरू होता है. And marriage is the end of the movie, but the life begins over there. And what you said is now we are a good team, better team, right? You've become better. And you're a team now. So I'd love for you to talk about that, because somewhere most relationships also get stuck because we expect कि वो जो शुरू के दिन थे वो रहेंगे हमेशा, and then you think, oh, my relationship is not working.
We will expect that person to never change, right? Like the person we married. Yeah, especially if that person was very romantic and very whatever, then we don't want them to change.
Was he very romantic before you continue?
Yeah, I mean, he used to write letters to
Really?
me. Yeah, and like flowers and all he used to buy.
Oh
I mean,
my God. Really?
yeah, so there are no letters, no poems, nothing anymore. And it took a while. It took a while for me to understand, oh my God, like I'm not going to get those same things back. But then see, we went through the cancer. So now he's there when it matters.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
So then you realized, okay, so this is just a progression. Things have changed, but for better, not for worse.
Yeah.
And as I said, now if I want flowers, I can buy my own.
Yeah, now talking about flowers. My mom used to run a flower shop. Okay.
Oh.
Yeah. So, and once I gave her flowers.
Not that the first time.
The first time I gave her flowers, it was from my mom's shop. So I didn't have to pay money for that flower.
So all I mentioned was that it was convenient because your mother has a flower shop. He has never given a flower bouquet after that.
So there's like, I don't know, like 20 years back now. So yeah. So but yeah, but you're right. I think we evolve over time, and like at least in our relationship, I think we hopefully both become better people over time. And I think having a son in the mix has also, made the dynamics change quite a bit. I don't know how we would be as husband and wife without Kian. So I mean that's something. Yeah, I question that. I mean, before Kian, we used to be like a lot more carefree about everything in life. So in the sense, travel, etc. Being more. But now it's a lot more planned, and there is. There's a structure around everything. But we've evolved.
I want to ask both of you, and Nithin, you, because you went out with it, you posted on social media, and that's part of your personal life which you put out there. And I thought it was a very vulnerable thing to do, brave thing to do. And I too firmly believe in this country, we desperately need this to, world over, but definitely in our country to do. So I have to say thank you for doing that. But tell all of us, why did you go public with it?
The first time we went to
He
a hospital.
convinced me, actually.
Yeah. I mean, she didn't. I mean, in the sense.
I am a very private person. I
think he is also private, no?
Not
anymore.
Not anymore.
Not
So
anymore,
yeah,
maybe.
but he kind of convinced me why it has to.
The first time we went to the hospital, and we realized there's a surgery required. The doctor said, "Do you want a private room?" and not private because you're known people or something, private in the sense, because everyone wants to do this privately. And I was like, for what reason? And that stuck around, and then kind of figured wherever we went for testing, wherever, so everywhere there is this, like, it's just another, like, a disease, right? Doesn't, like, you can't, it can't be a taboo of sorts. And also I think along the way we learned a bunch of things around this, right? As in what has helped, what has not helped. And within the business also, I think the philosophy at Zerodha has always been to open source all learning. So a lot of times I've thought, if a competitor reaches out to me, I just say whatever, there's nothing to hide, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, in that same spirit, we thought, we should just come out and share our learning. And also, I think one of the reasons I think Seema has bounced back for sure is her, so fast is because of her fit and healthy lifestyle, right? And a lot of, and the problem in India is that as you get older, you tend to compromise on your health and fitness, and when you do it, your chances of bouncing back, because anyone can have a medical accident, right? I mean, the chance of bouncing back reduces. So people need to know that generally being healthy and fit is should be like a decent priority in life, because if something like this were to happen, you can then bounce back faster,
Yes.
right? And so I mean, these were all the ideas which we anyways talk about, and we thought we should let the world know about it as well.
No,
And
but it's important, and important that you did that. When you were saying this, I remember Sushmita Sen had this hard thing, and she spoke about it, that she exercised, and that's why she was able to cope with it, actually survive it. The awareness. One of the things is we feel, and most of us, and I can include most of humanity except maybe few who might be pessimist in their thinking, is ये तो मेरे साथ नहीं होगा. Like this, especially if you're fit, if you're healthy, you don't smoke, you don't drink, because you perceive कि वो चीज से हो सकता है. But you have had a completely healthy lifestyle. But it happened, and I think it's also very important to call out that it can happen to anyone. That awareness. Would love for both of you to share, because there was no signal, there was nothing like what he's saying, that you went for the test, and he would say that it's a very casual matlab checkup hum sab karwate hain annual.
It's not I mean, the test is, of course, I mean, yearly we do, but then I could see a little deformity there. Like but then I had seen a similar thing when I was feeding Kian. So I didn't think much of it, right? Like I kept pushing. Then he was like, see, it's always at the back of your mind. Why don't you just, go to the doctor? But then, okay, I said, anyway, health check is coming. Let's see what they say. Then they pointed it out and they said, see, it might be nothing, because with age, you get those something called fibroids or something. Yeah. So they said it might be just that. But just get it checked. So that's what we realized. Annual health check is so important, and people. And when I told everyone, like when people came to know that, oh my God, then the thing was, everyone started, right from my mom to my, friends, everyone, oh my God, but you are so healthy. What's the point of being healthy if you're going to get shocks like this? I said, no, think about it. I am healthy. That's why I bounced back so fast.
Yeah.
Just think about it that way. Don't think, oh, but you are so healthy and what's the point?
When we figured all of this, so we started speaking to other people who've gone through this.
Yeah.
And I mean, that speaking to those people actually scared me a lot more. I mean, because a lot of negativity of sorts.
Yeah.
I think people saying, almost feeling like they've given up, and...
No, but see, the fact is, this medication really, screws up your mind. It really does, right? Not the surgery was nothing, but the later what it came, it really. So I am not surprised. The women we talked to, maybe they were going through their own issues, and I was scared because there were women who said their joints were useless. They couldn't work out anymore. They couldn't do yoga, and I was like, oh my God, like what is this? Then he's like, listen, don't talk to anyone. We'll figure out our own way. We'll figure this out. Mentally also, the medicines do a lot of bad things to your body. So I don't blame any of the women for feeling the way they are, because I had joint issues, and I told my doctor, I reached a point where I told him, I said, listen, I don't think I want to live like this. Thinking that taking this medication thinking that there might be recurrence. I would rather just live my life happy. If it comes back, you know what, I will deal with it later. So then the doctor was like, he reduced the dosage of my medicine. He's like, okay, you know, you're going to feel good. Just we'll reduce the dosage and see. So, I mean, everyone has their own battle and it's so different. You know, you can't compare my thing to anyone else's.
Yeah, but there are two things I'm learning from this is that one is that it's your own individual journey, so not
Absolutely.
necessarily taking feedback or getting inputs from others would
Yeah, but
help.
because all of those women, however, whatever they said, but everyone said, I'm here to help you because they never had any help. They're like, I could never talk to anyone, you know, because there was no one to talk to. And everyone encouraged me, if you want to talk, we are here for you.
Wow.
So, you know,
So,
that,
you know, that's humanity, no?
Y-
That's being
yes.
human. Cancer in some way brings, at least somewhere in the conscience, it comes that, okay, there might be this mortality question comes, no?
as I said, the first thing I asked was, I have travel plans coming in. So I never thought, it never registered that I'll die or it can be that serious. But as soon as she said, we don't even know if it's spread. You know, we don't know how far the cancer is, you know, moving in your body. And then I was like, oh, okay. So then I asked her, okay, how do we find this out? She said, tomorrow I can fix an appointment and we just. So, I mean, throughout the process, I never thought I will die or death is the thing for me. That was not at all, I mean, that didn't even come in my head, I think, that I will die. I thought, okay, you know, so many people get cancer, everyone survives.
You know, you living your reality.
Yeah.
Something happened by accident, like he said, health accidents happens, but you're living your reality, which is, hey, I have to run, I have to be on treadmill, I have to,
Yeah.
and I have to do my 1, 2, 3, 4 things, and then that's important. I have to ask you one very normal question: how are you so glowing and so amazing and so fit and so good and so?
I'll tell you, from last 3 months, no workout.
No workout.
Eating absolutely whatever I want. Workout is only walking. So because of my surgeries, I'm not able to work out. My doctor has told I can't.
Yeah, I mean, so she recently had like an implant. So
Reconstructive surgeries. So so he's like, till everything heals, I can't do anything. You can walk, he said. The max you can do is walk. And then I can eat whatever I want. So the glow is from you. And he keeps saying,
listen, we'll take this advice, so don't give this advice.
So I keep telling him, I can't work out and I don't feel right. He's like, no, you walk for a long time. And I said, yeah, but look at, like, I'm putting on weight. No, think of this as your bulking phase. And then once you are ready to work
but
out.
you know, when she's saying she's gonna eat, she's eating everything. It's, I mean, what she eats
moderation.
is nothing like eating everything. You know, so I mean,
it's not that sweets and chocolates and
oh no,
all that.
No, I don't like them that much.
No, I mean, these are very healthy. She probably had oats with milk in the morning. And that's what, I mean,
sahi advice.
No, I think I was frustrated I think maybe the glowing thing is because I'm like, okay, fine. You know what? I'll take it the way it comes. I shouldn't get frustrated. Today morning, I was still bugging him. I'm like, you didn't wake me up. He's like, but you were sleeping. So, I mean, I've just like, okay, I'll take it a day. You know, I need a month's rest and I'll take it the way. And I'm happy about our holiday. And, you know, I think everything put together, the glow. I just hope, you know, women don't consider breast cancer as a taboo and they talk about it to whoever they feel comfortable, you know, like talk it out. Because if keeping things to yourself is not at all healthy and it kind of makes you more frustrated, you know, so I just hope they get good support and they talk about this.
I want to understand, what did you do for yourself to have this mindset? Is it because, you know, some people have this mindset like, I will defeat everything and I will conquer, and I really think it's in the mind. A lot of it is also in the mind. Did you do something different? Was it that you always were a very optimist and driven person?
Not always, but then I think what got me going was, I mean, I always kept thinking that I want to get back to gym. I want to get back on my treadmill. right? Like
Hmm.
fitness.
Hmm.
I think that's what initially kept me going. Okay. And then also I realized after every chemo session, if I go for a walk, I used to feel so much better. And I used to drag him like 2 hours. We used to walk. I mean, I used to walk very slow. But then I realized that's actually helping. And then I talked to so many women who have gone through cancer, and especially someone in Europe, one of my friend. And she said they kind of encourage women to stay active throughout the cancer treatment. So I think, staying healthy and I mean, that kind of definitely helped me.
After our first surgery, I think the day we reached home, usually we have a trainer that comes home. He comes home at from 5:30 in the morning. So I think 2 days after surgery, right, as in the morning, I got up to train, and then she had come back home, and she was on the treadmill walking. There was this. Usually after surgery, you have this bag where
They have
the
this.
blood collects, right? So she's got that, and she's walking on the treadmill. No, but I think that's it. I think in India, right, we, like I said earlier, right, as you grow older, people say take care of yourself. If you're sick, don't do anything. Just lie down somewhere.
Yeah.
That's, I think, an absolute wrong way of addressing problems in life. But mentally, just having that I want to, come back to this routine, and I don't want to just be on the bed and somehow recover, and because I think like speaking to a lot of those other people that we spoke to, I think one of the problems was that I think they were in that mindset of let me relax, let me take some time. In India, I think more of this has to be spoken about, saying if you're sick, it doesn't mean that you just have to, not for all sickness, especially, and
Nitin, but in your role as an entrepreneur, of course, it is also very stressful. And of course, and I want you to talk about this, but you post all these amazing photos. You are so fit. Ye lagta hai he can do it. Like, I want to call this out. He can do it. Of course, he has a profitable business. Of course, he has so much of money. So it's, matlab, he will have the best of people supporting him, helping him, and he can do this. But we are common people and we can't. But you're also a common person who has made this happen. And maybe because of this, So I want you to call out because हमारे mind में resistance काफी रहता है that we can't. How did you get over that hump?
I think over the last 3 years, what has changed after Seema's episode has I started caring about what goes into my nutrition, right? As in, so the thing is, the problem I think a lot of us have is that we all think that we can, be healthy just by working out. It's not possible. It's the way you feel, the way you look is a factor of what goes into your body, right? And what has changed is really how I'm eating, right? Which is eating less. So it doesn't need money. You actually have to spend lesser to eat less. Maybe you have to spend a little more money for quality of food.
Yeah.
In the sense, like the kind of milk you drink, the vegetables you have, right? As in, try to buy fresh vegetables. Because the thing is, with vegetables also, right? The more we all have a habit of keeping in the fridge, and you lose nutrition over time, right? Very quickly, actually. So I think caring about nutrition is what is helping, in terms of how we're looking. Also, I think another thing that has changed with me is like, why are you trying to remain fit, or like, what is this for, right? I think a lot of my life I had vanity goals, right? Like, I want to have a six pack. Now the problem of that is you will diet for 10 days. You'll do something which is not possible for you to maintain for the rest of your life. Like, for a while I did intermittent fasting, right? But I knew that, I'm a foodie, I can't, like I can't just have one meal a day, and like it doesn't work
Forever.
forever, right? As in,
Yeah.
so I lost 6 kilos, and then I just put back all of it as, in 10 days time, right? So I think now the framework in my head is that like life is a marathon and I need to finish it strong, right? And so I'm now saying, how do I want to lead my life between 80 to 100, right? If I, hang around till then, right? Do I want to be on the bed? Do I want to be trekking, right? And or playing a sport, and so in my head the framework is that, saying that when I am at that age, the thing is, like one of the other things that we've been tracking quite closely is just the medical progress, things that are happening around gene therapy, etc. I think if all of us here can survive the next 20 years, I think we potentially will live for a very long time, right? Because it's just so much medical progress happening that there are going to be ways in which Like even if you have cancer, stage 3, whatever, you'll probably have something to cure you,
Yeah.
right? And so yeah, so if our life expectancy goes from the 70 odd years now and becomes 100 years, say, by the time we are all that age, how are you going to lead the last 10, 20 years of your life, right? And now that I have that framework, right? So all my decision making is based on that. It's no more about I want to look fit. I mean, I have that goal, but it's no more about I want to do this only for that. My goal is right now to be strong. Like so, it is I want to be lifting hard. I want to, my VO2 max, which is how much my lung capacity is. I want to be pushing myself on that because I know that physiologically my strength is going to keep reducing over time, and if I'm not strong today, and at 50 years of age, if I suddenly, or when I'm 60, if I want to suddenly become strong, I can't.
Yeah.
Right. So you hit those limits somewhere in the 50s, 60s. So you become as strong as you can by then, and then you will anyways have a deterioration over your life.
Did you at some point have making money as a purpose?
Of course. I mean, like when I first met her, she, my wardrobe was full of Porsches and Rolexes. Yeah, in the sense, photos of all of them. So
Those were the goalposts.
yeah, I mean, like a house with a swimming pool, and like I had all these like things, material things I want in my life.
And when did it
Orkut
start
is still
changing?
around, is it?
Yeah.
Sorry?
Orkut, his Orkut picture was
No,
that.
I had an Orkut post where I think this was from 2002-3. I had said these are the things I want to get in my life, right? So there was a certain watch, a certain car, a certain house, and then on the other side there was be 1/10 of Joe Satriani on the guitar. I've had a money goal through my life. I think, like this whole. I find a little bit of hypocritical saying that money isn't everything, but you can only say it once you have a little bit
When
of
you
money.
have money.
Right, that's why I
yes.
said it's important for you to call. I would love to understand your relationship with money. So at one point you did aspire
Right.
for all these
Yeah.
worldly, which everyone.
Correct. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I was a trader. I mean, like pinnacle of capitalism. I mean, like I used to be a day trader in the markets, right? As in, you want to make money quickly. I mean, that's why you're doing day trading. There's no purpose in day trading. Your purpose in day trading is just to make money, right? And day trading is a zero-sum game. That means if you're making money, someone else is losing money, right? As in, so it's as law of the jungle as it gets, right? So that's how I think I was for most period of my life, early on. I think 2016, 17 is when our lifestyle stopped catching up. In the sense, more money didn't make anything. And I know. I mean, I keep telling this. Having Kailash around, who's our K as you call him, as the CTO around. Just the way he thinks about all of this, money, material things, etc. I think I also had a large rub off on me, as in this question of obligation that success brings as well, right? I mean, at the end of the day, we got extremely lucky, right? As in money, the outcomes in life is an absolute. It's all about luck. I mean, of course, you can maybe control it a little bit, the inputs, which is how you work, your team, and etc. But there's so many people who have tried, right? Like, but they didn't, right? Right? So I mean, that outcome is really luck. It's not like I'm a smarter guy, and that's how I'm sitting here today. Right? It's just that, yes, of course, I was determined and hardworking, but also there's a lot of luck happened in my life, and so you need to be, I think, cognizant and conscious of that luck. And stop
but then
caring.
calling out on what Seema was saying is that you are now more compassionate and you think about others and you want to help others.
I think it's also a little selfishness there,
Okay.
right? In the sense, it's about what makes you happy, right? And today, my happiness doesn't come from spending money, right? It comes from like helping entrepreneurs or a social cause. As in, we all have. We all have these things that gives us dopamine hits, right? As in, different people have different things, right? And today, I think for me, it's that I get a lot more excited if if there was as an entrepreneur that's doing well, because and I had some role to play in it.
Seema, I have to ask you this, and again, I'm going back to that conversation where you're saying that you were talking to people, they were ready to help, but there was this thing of no movement, and this somewhere I feel you also manifested your desire to exercise, to travel. Do you think that मतलब वो जो desire या want या dream जो था कि फिर से खड़े होते हैं और दौड़ते हैं, pulled you every day. And that's why it's also very important to have a purpose. It's also very important to have, something that is driving.
To be frank, I keep telling him I don't know what my purpose in life is. Because I really don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know where I'm headed. I'm just confused. But I think through the treatment, I knew that, okay, I have to get through this. Like take one day at a time and, first get through this. And along the way, I don't know, he tries to help me in all the ways possible, to try everything and figure out where I want to be. We started this Rain Matter Health where we started investing in, health and fitness, as he said.
When I met Seema, so we were working in the same call center.
Yes.
Right, and
Aankhon hi
no,
aankhon mein
it's not
nothing.
No, it was. So the thing is, I had like a bunch of rowdy friends.
Rowdy friends.
And-
Unimaginable.
They are not going to be happy about this.
and we were like, when Seema came from Belgaum, she was so conservative, like even her chudidars had gloves in it. So- Right, so-
Where was this, Singapore?
No, in here, Airport Road,
It's
actually-
that's why he was coming to Indranagar. Yes.
Yeah, so it's called Dial M. Other day I was actually telling Ranjan Pai about it, that I worked in your call. That's where I started my career. So and so we were all. It was one of those graveyard shifts, and
But how did you get attracted to each other?
no, I mean I tried. So the thing was, it was actually a bet, saying like these rowdy friends of mine, like this girl impossible for anyone to date. So and
And
yeah.
you took the challenge.
And I took the challenge. I mean, there was even to the extent that I had this old Tata Sierra, which I had bought, which I sold, and I cried so that she thinks I'm an emotional person.
No, I really thought like, oh my God, this guy is so attached to his car. He's actually crying because he has to sell it. But later I realized when he yawns, he has tears in his eyes.
Really?
Yes. So he just has to yawn for those tears.
Yeah. So no, but the thing is, coming back to purpose. So she came here wanting to be a cabin crew, right? And the kind of environment.
Belgaum se, na?
Yeah, from Belgaum. Yeah. So, and I've not until then I hadn't seen anyone as focused as her wanting to be a cabin crew, right? So she got into Air Deccan, and then she got into Singapore Airlines, and
I told you, right, that after 35, my life I want to, travel the world. I want to make money, get married, have 3 kids. And now I think I just did all that. Not 3 kids, but at least 1. And I think it just stopped and I don't know what to do. I have to find my
so
passion.
she came.
That's a
and-
very good place to be also. Huh?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's what. So then Zerodha happened into 2010, and then she came back from Singapore in 2011, 2012. She started helping out in small bits of the business, but I don't think she's ever synced with what Zerodha is. It's money.
I was telling you, right, like I didn't really connect with the financial
trading,
trading,
and all
bit
of that. So over the last 3-4 years, we've been figuring out what her purpose should be. So together, a lot of people think money solves for all problems, right? And this is something. The reason I think it's important that what she goes out there is because it doesn't.
doesn't solve
Money doesn't solve. I mean, it solves for material things, but it doesn't really solve for all
I was telling Nithin to Seema that I lost my mother in a very tragic accident, and every money possible, dunya ka kya nahi kiye, but you lose, and then you realize that money is so not. Of course, it is important, but it is also not what you're saying. It's just not important.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I mean. When we talk about this whole her finding purpose, you got all this money in the world. What purpose do you need, right?
Yeah. Yes. Of course, you can chill. You can travel the world. You have a loving husband who is 0 fat, and you have a loving son, and you look so lovely. What is the purpose?
Yeah.
No,
I
but
think
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
It is.
No, when I look at him, when I look at Nikhil, I mean, they are so passionate with, about what they're doing. They're finding different things to do for themselves. They are driving themselves, in different directions, and then I feel like, what am I doing? That's a huge pressure. See, I don't want to be famous or anything, but I just want to find that satisfaction these guys find in doing the things they are doing. I just want to find something where at the end of the day I come home and I feel like, like feel happy about what I've done, or I've
But
made a
after
little
looking at
difference.
you, I feel you are genuinely a very good soul. So
Yeah.
I think something
Thanks.
like, and I feel there'll be something very different for you. Maybe just this life journey of pain, because somewhere I just think pain is the biggest. मतलब सब कुछ पेन से ज्यादा कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता है जिंदगी में टू एज एन अपलिफ्टर एज अ ट्रांसफॉर्मर एंड समथिंग because this conversation just coming here to show up to do this conversation itself shows that there is I know you're not going to be famous because you'll run away and I had to write a long letter to him to get you to do this, and and
Thanks for the
other fear
message,
I
by
had
the
is,
way.
what will she speak, because I've seen your interviews, you speak less also.
I don't speak anything.
Yeah, but you're doing it because there's somewhere some very kind heart. What you were saying about him, that he's a compassionate man. For you, it's very obvious for you that you are a very
Thank you.
different soul. So yeah, who knows? Any relationship also has its ups and downs. It can't be like you guys give a very picture perfect, and I feel very jealous. Like itna the amazing husband, loving wife, amazing wife. मतलब downs तो होंगे ही. And you guys have worked together, you live together, and it's a relationship over 20 years. I somewhere want you to also call out that there are tough days. And how have you over the years learned to, because we grow, no, we are not the same at 20 when we hit our 40. So what happens? How do you make it actually work on a day-to-day basis?
Definitely there are volatile moments, right? I think over time, I think the big issue in relationships is we start taking people for granted, when your relationship for granted over time. I think both of us have done a decent job of not doing that, right? As in, like, if something bothers me, I'm usually, I can't. I mean, it's not just with her, even in business, etc. I cry sometimes, right? And I cry and just let it out.
You're not yawning.
No, like real, for real, as in, it has happened once in maybe, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years, right?
That
As
you've
in,
cried.
yeah, I mean, in a sense, just out of
Yeah,
frustration, like,
yes.
but then that's a release, like you just
Yeah.
blurt it out and then you're done with it,
Yeah.
So
Then I'll get a long message. How lucky we are, how we have to fix this, how we have to move forward.
the way in my framework, right, mental framework, is usually I'm looking at always people who are, not as lucky as I am in my life, or us, the way. So everything for me in life seems like a bonus right now, like, whatever is happening, right, as in all ways. And so which is what I'm usually trying to convey to her as well, that we are extremely lucky to be here, so I don't think we should be spending time wasting our time in misunderstandings, etc. It's actually like, it's crazy that over the last 3-4 years we've hardly had any real conflicts in the relationship. I mean, during this whole treatment, there were 2-3 times where she wanted space and time, and
Yeah, naturally.
yeah, and that was okay. But apart from that, I think we've generally, in a relationship, I think we've gotten better, and I guess.
So instead of calling it, say if we have an argument, instead of calling it an argument or a fight, we call it a discussion. He's like, let's call it a discussion, right? Like, if you're upset about something, let's discuss. Let's not go at each other. Because I'm very emotional person.
I
So
can
if
see
I'm
it from your
upset,
eyes.
yeah, if I'm upset, my voice goes high and all this thing. And I'm like, how can you not be like that? Because he's always, no, but I can't deal with the calmness all the time. Like, how can you not get excited,
Yeah.
upset,
Show
or
emotions.
show emotions? He doesn't. Then he started, okay, let's discuss. Let's stop raising our voices. Even if we raise, okay, it's a discussion. So now all our fights are discussions.
I think over time, if you understand each other, right, the points of conflicts reduce over time.
But Nithin, you've said a very beautiful, very powerful rather thing, that everything in life you now take it as a bonus. बहुत बड़ी बात है. मतलब बोलना आसान है, जीना उसको बहुत कठिन है, and you're doing that. And somewhere it shows it comes across with both of you that you're everyday living because you will not show up. There is a spark, there is a genuine smile, laughter, there's so much of life in both of you. I think it also comes from a space of gratitude. But again, you are living in an environment where you get a lot of attention. You are the hero. You're the celebrity. It's
Yeah.
Nithin Kamath all the way.
No.
So, how
it's-
do you stay with this? Like, how do you every day? मतलब कैसे? Don't you get carried away a little bit?
I stay away from all social circuits. You're not. I'm either in the office or at home, and if
Yeah.
I'm not in those two places. I am with my office friends, who are more like family now. We have a core team, and there are some of our friends from my call center days.
We
which-
almost have social zero. Well,
Yeah.
zero, sorry, social life.
Yeah.
You don't go to parties.
Nothing.
And all those
Nothing.
fancy places.
No,
It's
I mean,
how.
because we-
we love to invite people home because we don't want to eat outside.
but Bangalore also makes it very hard to travel. It's just you just lose too much time. But no, even apart from that, I don't think. See, the problem I think I have is that people make you into a hero, like this perfect being, and I know I'm not. And
No, they have to understand that there is a real Nithin Kamath, right? He's not what people think, like perfect. He has his flaws, But he's a good human being. That's all that matters at the end of the day. But, like relationship as well, right? We have it's not like our relationship is perfect. And whoever says it, their relationship is perfect is lying. You will have your arguments, you will have, everything that goes through life. But the way you come out of it is...
It's also very important for men. Because as a woman, biologically nurture. Women are more giving, more standing, more caring. They give birth to children. But for men, to stand up and to be there giving is also that needs to be called out, because somewhere I'm sure there are many, you can't generalize, but to a large extent the burden falls on women compared to, men can easily, you can be busy, no, you're an entrepreneur, you can be busy, you could be you have things to do, but in that standing equally, you shaved your head.
oh no,
all
come
those
on,
things.
shaving the head is this.
The very small part.
Is-
I'm just saying. But again, it needs to be called out, because I really want maybe everyone to be there like that with each other.
Right. Yeah, no, I think life will be a much better place. The world will be a much better place like that.
Yeah, and also something beautiful you're saying, that she'll stand with you, you'll stand with her. So there's no one-upmanship here.
Right.
But again, there is also this calling out that men के लिए थोड़ा तो call out करना चाहिए.
I can give, say, a few hours a day to my son, completely undistracted. Today, what happens is I have a phone. There's some messages. There is, your constant distraction.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
not,
yeah.
and I think he'll figure, right? I think he looks at my eyes and he probably knows I'm distracted,
Yes.
right? And I've seen this problem across. Forget entrepreneurs. I'm saying even my friends who have work and whose work gets done at 6 p.m. At 8 p.m., can he give undivided attention to their kids? They can't. Right? The excuse for the man is, oh, I'm busy with something.
Yeah.
Right? So you can. No, I think we need to be just cognizant that this is an excuse we all make, especially as men, and
Yes.
and I think we all need to figure ways to give undivided attention to our relationships. Be it wife, be it kid, be it whatever, parents, whatever. So
And we might not always be 10 on 10, but we have to be present,
Yeah.
aware of this.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah.
And call this out. Anything ahead that is planned? I know you're figuring your purpose. Anything that you would like to do for people who would be, diagnosed with cancer, anything related to health?
I would like to do something in mental health because, no, they don't have, I don't think even now there are, that women can actually talk about this. Like I also took therapy, even though I had such supportive system around me, right? Like my friends, my sister, Nithin. But still I needed a therapist because therapist is the only one where you don't have the fear of being judged.
Yeah.
So I would really like to do something in the mental health space,
No, I think therapy is again, right, another thing that's a taboo. Like in our office we have tied up with one of these mental health clinics, and we have 1,100 people on our team. Maybe 10 people have ever used the therapy session. Yeah. It's just because, therapy for everyone is you have a mental problem, right? It all becomes, you only if you're mad, you have to go use therapy. I mean, it's like that. As in, so I think this has to be a more mainstream conversation as well, which is,
It's very normal.
It's a normal thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Everyone could be like how our body feels a certain way on certain days, and we need a doctor. A mind can feel low on certain days, and maybe people need help on those days, and help again from someone who's experienced and someone who's not judging you, right? As in, you don't, you can't self-prescribe all medications for yourself. Same way, So I think it's the challenge is India doesn't have an ecosystem of experience, therapists, right? As in, I don't know if it's a demand problem or it's a supply problem, right? Because if people themselves don't believe that they don't need therapy, how will therapists exist? I mean, so we ended up actually investing in a bunch of companies, who are trying to make this happen. But I think it's still early days for India. I think, I think a lot more has to be said and done here, just to, just to make it more mainstream. It's okay to go to a therapist types.
Yeah, I've gone to therapists since last 20 years. Different. I took like shopping. That's my favorite subject, by the way. Like talking to therapists, understanding them. How do they look at things, and are they treating me, and what does it do to me? But one thing I want to call out is, if you can do something on this, is that I've realized the deepest impact for me has been meditation. Like, it has treated me far deeply, and it is such a tough task. It's like I wish I didn't like it is easy to use the word, but it has taken forever to get into a place where now I'm seeing the impact of it. And somewhere, if spirituality and therapy, there could be some business there.
The ones that we have met, a lot of people are still thinking, very small scale.
Why?
And a lot of people are thinking of this as tech first. It's very hard to be tech first. I mean, AI will never be emotional. I mean, this is not like, a prompt, a chatbot that can therapize you, No,
not
right.
at all.
Yeah, so
I've used all these apps also.
Right.
I'm like a subject matter expert on mental.
So it's
But, thank you for calling out that you took therapy with a very supportive, loving ecosystem around you. Still, there is this, there is this want and this need, and there is this requirement.
There is, I mean, you'll always think, right? Like, people are, like, say if it's my friend, I know I'll feel she's judging me if I'm saying something.
Or she's sympathizing or empathizing.
Because she's my, yes. Or same with my husband, right? Like, I'll think, oh my God, like, will he judge me if I say something? Or if I cry, will he, he wouldn't know what to do. Like, so
or he gets disturbed himself.
Yeah, exactly. Why disturb people? But this therapist has really worked for me, because I could just talk without the fear of being judged. I could say anything. She's not related to any of my subjects that I'm going to talk about. So I think that was very liberating.
But you generally come across as a very open person.
Yeah, I am.
Last, I was asking you off the record. Now I'm going to put you on the record. These days, we are hearing this company, that, companies are, ahead as the largest company. What does it do to you?
Right. So this is, again, this whole factoring in the worst case outcome, right? I mean, this is something I've been communicating. We're building a business in a very different way, right? As in, we are the only broker in the country who charges an account opening fees, right? So this is, no, we are not going out there and trying to turn everyone into our customer, because we believe we still don't have a product for every customer. Like today, right? If you come to Zerodha, if you have an intent to trade, invest, we have a great platform. If you have an intent to learn about markets, we have a great platform. But if you don't have intent to do either, we probably don't have a solution for you today. And which is really the majority of the masses, right? As in, if you pick the most of the people out there, they don't have. And we're very honest about it, saying that we don't have a product for that person today. We don't have. And our philosophy has always been that we will not sell anything to our customers, right? Without knowing the customer well, right? Because otherwise, of course, we can get a random person to open an account, and tomorrow morning I can send 5 push notifications saying do this, without knowing who that person is. But we will, in the process, have done some injustice to him, because you can't really. It's like mental health advice, right? As in, you can't. How do you advise financial advice without knowing who the person is?
Yeah.
There's no one advice that works for all.
Yeah.
And so with these philosophies, we knew that at some point of time, someone else who's spending money, giving free T-shirts, or like they will get more users. I mean, it was obvious that it will happen at some point of time. We don't market or advertise. Like, we don't have ads running.
I wish you marketed and advertised. I've been interviewing him over last many, I don't know, donkey years. And every time I listen to this with great appreciation.
Yeah. No, but I'll tell you again, right? The reason for marketing and not marketing and advertising is it's again a very psychological thing, which is if you spend money acquiring a user,
Yeah.
you're then wired to think about how do I recover this money from the user.
Uh-huh.
It is obvious, right? As
Yeah.
in, like, if I spend $500, if someone comes in my head, how do I recover this $500 from you? And we don't want to be in that kind of a relationship, because then we'll probably do more harm than good to the customer. I
Yeah.
mean, that's how we've thought about it. Nothing against people who think otherwise. I mean, we can build businesses in different ways. So yeah, with these kind of philosophies, it was we knew at some point of time they'll have more users. For what matters for us internally is that, are we doing well as a business? Are you doing, like, are you building decent products for the customer? Are the customers liking what you're building? Who are the customers you have, right? Because today, I think, at Zerodha, I think the one aspect that we are extremely proud about is that our customers together hold like almost 3 lakh crores of securities with us. And this is something that we have garnered from customers as trust in the last 10 to 12 years. I think we are very close. I mean, we're probably the largest broker already, in terms of AUM of retail assets, right? So, most of our competitors there, who are near to us, have probably been around for like 30 years, like, ICICI, HDFC, right? I mean, 30, 40 years of sorts. So all of that is what we really care for. But does it bother because someone else has got more users? Of course it does. As in, I'm an entrepreneur at the heart, so I'm competitive, so while I say all of this, so it does.
मुझे तो लगा थोड़े परे हैं इन सब चीजों से अब.
No, I mean, it does bother, but the thing is, you have to fight your own fights. As in, if I'm 6'5" and I'm trying to be a gymnast, I cannot, right? So our business strategy is very different than someone else's, right? So the outcomes will be very different, right? As in our case, the outcomes will be larger AUM, more serious traders, more revenues, more profits, right? In the other way of building business will probably be larger number of users, but maybe lesser revenues, lesser non-serious kind of, because
You've
people.
been clear. You're clear about where you are heading, where you want to be, and who you want to be.
Yeah,
So clarity बहुत ज़्यादा है. Life अभी तक और आगे जो देखते हैं. We all say, no, we have meaning of life, and this. How are you making meaning of all that has happened?
Well, as I said, I'm still confused about where I'm headed. Yeah, I really hope that I will, as I'll figure a way out. Like, I'll discover myself, or I'll find my purpose. Not my purpose, or at least something that'll make me happy and satisfied at the end of the day. But yeah, I mean, looking forward, right now, I just can't wait to get back to my workouts.
But a question is, you are also co-founder in Zerodha.
So the thing is, she's a shareholder in Zerodha. So no, she's stopped actively working in Zerodha for a while, like last 2-3 years now, 3 years, 4 years now.
And how would you say that you constructed the meaning अभी तक जो हुआ है, अभी तक की journey का?
What I take it from what happened is that anything can happen to you at any point in your life. And, no matter what happens, take it in a positive way. Move ahead and, well, do your best, to deal with whatever is coming your way and looking at the future in a positive way, I guess.
Like what he said, that take it as a bonus. Everything is a bonus.
It is a bonus because, as I said, cancer didn't just do didn't do harm, but also cancer made me realize that what am I doing with my life? Do I want to keep floating around in Zerodha everywhere, without knowing what I really want to do? Yeah. So this kind of, it's like made me stop and look around and think that, okay, what I want to do now with my life.
And Nithin, I would, this experience, if I say in the life journey, this experience which both of you have gone together, you as a partner, what has it meant for you? How has it changed?
Like I said earlier, just appreciation of health, how complicated and how interconnected everything in your body is. Your mind to your body, to everything that you eat, etc. How it can create these outcomes, right? And so yeah, I think I care about it a lot more. I think both of us actually. Just in the relationship, just knowing how everything is so brittle in the sense, like how you can just get up one day and something can happen, right? As in, like just like I've gone through this rabbit hole of what's happening in Israel, right? As in, it's just ridiculous, right? As in, is just seeing their history and how Jews have been persecuted, and or even what's happening to Palestinians. It's just ridiculous. And
Yeah.
and now if you think about all of that, now you think about yourself. You have to be. I'm so lucky to be where I am, to be born in the right country, to be born to the right parents, to be born at the right time in this country, right? And so I'm just so grateful to everyone and everything, right? As in, so right, and because like I said, if you look at people better than you, and probably in my life where I've reached financially, there are probably a handful of people, like it is possible to get into the rabbit hole, because I know very successful people who are not happy.
Yes.
Because they're always constantly comparing someone
Yes.
above them, and it always feels incomplete, right? And you're
Yes.
always you're like this hamster on this wheel, constantly.
Emptiness hamisha. This
Yeah.
yeah.
Right? So no, for me, I think just having, just looking around and pivoting yourself to those people, and then seeing how lucky you are, makes, I think it just adds a lot more meaning to everything that I'm doing. And that's why I feel so much more lucky with everything I do. And there's obligation saying that, dude, you gotten this lucky, or you need to use your success in some way for the society, right? I mean, all of that comes from, that realization that you've just gotten supremely lucky, and it's your job to do something about it. And that's also become like a purpose in life now, saying, like, what is that? With great power comes,
Great
Yeah.
With great power.
With power,
comes
great
Yeah,
responsibility.
Yeah, something like that, right? As in, so I think that realization, especially when COVID happened, when we were going around trying to help during the COVID times, and when this was happening, when we were in the hospitals, because in all of these hospitals we have never tried to flaunt that we are whatever, right? As in, we've gone to normal rooms and like seen normal people around, and it's just realization that like how lucky we are, and stuff like that.
You know what I'm hoping everyone who will watch this will pick up is that feeling of lucky or gratitude भी चीजों को अच्छे से रखता है और manifest करता है, and you just a happier person.
Yeah, absolutely. As in, like I said, that whole, if you're not happy without you, I unlikely you'll be happy with it. So it's
Yes.
it's like that. And that realization's happened over the last, I think 3-4 years.
But thank you so much, and thank you, and all of us, everyone watching this, and everyone will have this. I get to say this, then thank you, because I know why you're doing this. I know why you've taken the effort, sweating, traveling, coming here to do this, and this is not for yourselves. You're doing it for everyone, and anyone who is in pain, who is questioning, who is in despair. And sometimes conversations like this, who knows, sparks
Yeah.
what. So thank you for this
Thank you so
generosity.
much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.